Hey everyone, welcome back to Trek on the Tube. Star Trek Discovery just released its Season 1 mid-season finale, Episode 9, Into the Forest I Go, and it's pretty safe to say it's probably one of the best episodes so far. I was on the edge of my seat for most of the episode, a lot of unexpected things happened, and a few firsts for Star Trek itself, though not many Easter eggs this week. As usual, I do have a few complaints, a few nitpicks, and we'll do that first, get it out of the way, and then we'll dive into all that's positive after. So for starters, yes, Burnham saves the day, her mission is a success, but that doesn't change how terribly arrogant and insubordinate she is. The fact everything turned out for the best doesn't excuse her attitude, and I really do think the show's gonna have trouble redeeming her at this point. But we'll have to wait and see how that all plays out. My main issue though was how Saru and Burnham were able to come up with a way to locate the cloaked ships on the fly as if it were nothing. I mean, Starfleet's top scientists and top engineers have been working on this for a while, and the only solution they came up with was the planet Pavo. How come all of a sudden we don't need that planet anymore? It even takes away from the importance of last week's episode, which is something you really don't want to do. The other issues I had were minor. I found Lorca's speech came a little too soon. It was good, but I don't feel like we've lived through enough with the ship and her crew for it to actually have great impact. It felt kind of forced. Cole was occupied by Burnham, and the other Klingons were cheering, but it still was a little weird that they didn't think twice about the Discovery randomly appearing all around them. Someone should have known something was up, and I will ask this again, why exactly do the Klingons want to destroy the planet? They don't know it can be used against them. They know nothing more than the fact they were summoned by the beings on it. And even for Klingons, that doesn't justify the destruction of an entire planet. So yeah, there were things that weren't perfect, but that's the case with every episode of every TV show you'll ever watch. The thing is, in this episode, the mistakes are acceptable. They're not major plot holes, the episode isn't boring, and the episode just felt a lot more Star Trek in general. So let's get into the positive. First of all, the character moments were truly great. Lorca felt like a Starfleet captain for the first time. I know he's still doing some shady things, and maybe it's all purely in his own interest, but the way he shows Stamets the data concerning the jumps, the way they talk at the end of the episode, he felt like a leader, almost like an explorer. For once, he wasn't just the guy in charge, he was the captain, and that was awesome. Tyler and Cornwell, both in different kinds of pain aboard the Klingon ship, that was amazing as well. Not only did we get some context about what happened to Tyler, but we also get to see Cornwell using her non-admiral skills. And of course, Tyler and Burnham. The episode slowed down a little at that point, but it was nice to see them take their relationship seriously and want to work through his problems together. Perfect transition. Let's talk about those problems of his for a bit. The episode gave us two flashback sequences. One where Tyler seems to be tortured, the other way he seems to be being raped. Rape and torture aren't at all new to Star Trek, though some would argue Discovery showed them in a more graphic way than what we're used to seeing. I'm gonna be honest with you, I had more trouble watching the Seti Eel scene in Wrath of Khan than these scenes from Discovery, so I suppose it depends on who's watching. I make a claim, however, that Tyler is not remembering rape or torture, he's actually remembering sweet, sweet sex and surgery. I would prefer it not be true at this point, but I'm pretty convinced Ash Tyler is Vok. He's undergone some sort of horrible surgery and brainwashing, and at some point, he's going to be activated. What I would like is for Ash Tyler to be Ash Tyler, a brainwashed human working for the Klingons without his knowledge. And Vok to be Vok. I mean, Vok is supposed to be out there in space doing God knows what, and L'Rell actually said that we probably won't see him anytime soon. Again, that's because Vok is most likely Ash Tyler, but bear with me while I explain what I think would be absolutely awesome. This is some theory crafting speculation. Well, I mean, it's more a fan theory or fan fantasy than anything else. Because, again, I would love this, but I don't think this is true. I think Vok is Ash Tyler. Enterprise showed us that many traditional style Klingons lost their ridges in an attempt to enhance themselves. These Klingons very quickly became an embarrassment to the Empire and to their families, so we can assume they went into hiding. The Klingon Empire is huge. It's almost as big as Federation space, and it's been around for thousands of years. So, it could be fun to theorize different styles, different breeds, if you will, of Klingons evolved over the years depending on their environment, etc. What if, between Enterprise and Discovery, some of these different Klingons, disgusted at what the High Council did, tried to take over the Empire, succeeded, and they eventually became the more dominant and widespread style of Klingon? The ones we're used to, and the ones without ridges, are pushed away into a forgotten corner of the Empire. By the time we get to Discovery and we engage the Klingons, all the Federation knows and sees are that the Empire is in disarray and that the Klingons look like this. What if Vok has actually gone to get the Klingons we know? What if his ultimate plan is to bring them back and help them reclaim the Empire? He would get his revenge against Cole and his followers, but he would also lose everything because he would be helping the Klingons he so much despises and T'Kuvma despises regain control of the Empire. And that's why 10 years later, when Kirk meets the Klingons, they have no ridges and they look human. The traditional Klingons and the ones without ridges have regained control. It even ties into the very first sentence we hear on Discovery. They are coming, atom by atom. It would even justify the very strange or new, unique Klingon ship designs. I don't know, I reckon that would be pretty cool. I'm pretty convinced the show's not going to go in that direction though, but you know. Okay, back to the episode. Be it rape or lovemaking, for the first time ever on Star Trek we get to see alien breasts. Klingon breasts, more precisely. In Enterprise we got this and this, but as you can see, until now everything has been covered up. Speaking of firsts, we also get Star Trek's first ever on-screen gay kiss. Star Trek Beyond showed us a homosexual Sulu and his partner, but no kiss ever made it to the final cut. Deep Space Nine has already done a lesbian kiss, though some people feel it isn't technically lesbian. I don't want to dive into this at this time, but at face value, on screen, there are two women, two actresses that were kissing. Concerning Discovery, this is a nice step forward, even though it does seem more like catch-up considering gay relationships, kisses, and even sex scenes have been on TV for years now. The last big thing I wanted to talk about is the Universal Translator. In Universe, I have to admit the logic around the technology is a little off. I mean, they have a Universal Translator in Enterprise, but it constantly needs enhancing and help. They have one in the original series, but it isn't incorporated into the communicator like it is in Discovery. I'm sure there's a way to make sense of all this, and I'm just not going to go into that now. What I'm going to focus on is the way they use the Universal Translator in both Discovery and Beyond, which was really well. The viewer immediately understands that when the alien starts speaking English, it's because the translator is now functioning. I love it. Of course, this has always been implied in The Next Generation and other iterations of Trek, but to see it actually work adds a lot to the realism of meeting and conversing with alien races. Overall, as I said, this episode was really great. Great acting, great writing. Even the technobabble seemed better in this one for some reason. The music was good. The CG, the props, the sets, everything was absolutely great. I loved it. Maybe my favorite in Discovery so far. No, actually not my favorite. I think episode 6 still is my favorite, but very good. Let's finish this with the few Easter eggs and observations that we have, and that'll be it. Stamets and Kolber talk about the play La Boheme. This is funny because Anthony Rapp and Wilson Cruz both played in Rent, which is described as a modern retelling of La Boheme. Stamets also has to make 133 jumps, which is a reference to the pilot episode of Battlestar Galactica 2004. The episode was named 33. Lorca uses the sentence, "where no one has gone before," which is self-explanatory. And I think the biggest Easter egg, which also happens to be quite an important plot development, is this 3D holographic map Lorca has going on. It resembles Temporal Agent Daniel's map a lot. Of course, when I say map, I'm actually simplifying this quite a bit. What you're looking at here is a representation of both time and parallel universes. Daniel's was from the 31st century, and by that time the Federation had somewhat mastered time travel. This was one of his tools. Interesting to see something very, very similar in Discovery. Concerning that last spore jump and the mid-season finale cliffhanger, I don't know whether Lorca is responsible or not for the malfunction, but I'm absolutely certain the ship is now in the mirror universe. Okay, that's it for today. Star Trek Discovery will come back on January 7th. That's when I'll start doing my weekly reviews again. In the meantime, I will be making a mid-season breakdown video, talking about the good, the bad, and maybe a few predictions. Also, I will be doing collaborative discussion videos with a few other Star Trek related YouTube channels as well. If I have time before the season picks up again, I will try to release some more traditional content, maybe a Star Trek Races, but no promises. November and December are a busy period for us all. Thank you very much for watching, like, subscribe, and remember, live long and prosper. Mirror Universe? What is this shit? Morty, listen to this clown. He's talking about parallel universes and shit. What does he know about parallel universes? You don't have a portal gun? No one has a portal gun in Star Trek? You gotta take half a season just to go to one universe? We do 6 in one episode, bitch.